Hello and welcome to the beautiful Vaucluse in the southern part of France. It really is a beautiful area to while away Easter. Are based in the area of the Vaucluse, and in its centre is Avignon, and the three stages that make up this weekend of racing. The first stage starting from Bollène and heading down to Pertuis, basically a flat stage enlivened by bonus sprints where the riders can pick up small time bonuses, and then the second and third well at the back of the group there in the Once colours. Robert doing a lot of work, the man with the long thin legs who can really ride well. He was on the Wyman team last year. He's come over to Bucks of the Easter weekends, Criterium International. The rider I didn't spot there, the Buckler rider joining on, well I can now tell you, Jean-François Bernard, anxious to prove that he can do a good ride this year. Coming up, he's going off the back of this leading group. So the question mark remains over the head of this popular Frenchman. And there is the kilometre kite, just 1,000 metres from the finish, and it's Rolf Jaermann who's opening up the sprint now. Leclerc, Roland Leclerc has hesitated, but I think Bruyneel has gone to the right on somebody's wheel. But this is Rolf Jaermann now trying to go for it. Johnny Weltz, I think it is, who's gone off for the front of the line now. Weltz has got a good finish, and hanging on the back is Roland Leclerc. Oh, and the dummy has been played by somebody. They've eased right up as they've caught Jaermann. Weltz is looking across the road and attacked by Roland Leclerc. Leclerc has gone, nobody's counted him. Roland Leclerc, the man who created this breakaway, has gone clear now. Weltz is trying to get somebody to lead him out, but nobody is willing, but they're going after Leclerc now. Roland Leclerc has gone for the line this time. This will be a great victory for him if he can get it, and that is Jean-Claude Leclerc who's coming up. No relation, by the way. Jean-Claude Leclerc, Roland is on the right, Jean-Claude is on the left, and Weltz is going on our far right as we see the picture now. Weltz trying to hit the crowd line, and this is going to be very, very tight. In the centre is Jean-Claude Leclerc. Jean-Claude Leclerc in the centre. Weltz is on the right. It looks as though Bruyneel is the man tucked there in third place, but it's going to be a win for Jean-Claude Leclerc. Helvetia rode well today, deserved that. Weltz in third place. I think it was Bruyneel who hung on there for third place, rather. Weltz is in second place. This is the main field coming in, and it looks like José-Luis Villanueva, who isn't really sprinting, is he? He's holding off the whole field there with a good show of defiance, and Laurent Jalabert comes across there in second place in the bunch win. Let's have a look at that win again for Jean-Claude Leclerc. Absolutely delighted with that. Johnny Weltz in second place. Joseph Bruyneel was third. Forrest was in fourth place, and the champion of Switzerland, Jaermann, he took fifth slot. All given the same time as the winner, which means they'll be separated only by those bonus points, and there they are, bonus seconds rather. Leclerc now leads this race by 4 seconds from Johnny Weltz. Bruyneel 6 seconds back, and Forrest is 10 seconds back. In sixth place, Dave Rayner. Roland Leclerc is 7th, Jalabert 8th, Charly Mottet is 9th, and Capes is 10th of the Criterium International. This time the riders leaving from Le Tour and heading down to Cavaillon. It's a short ride of only 89 kilometers, and that was exactly how it worked out. On the first climb of the Côte de Verduc, a small group of riders has started to break away from the field, and the two leaders being joined here by Vjatceslav Ekimov from the Soviet Union, riding of course a Panasonic, a man with 5 victories under his belt last year, and now settling into the pro scene. The chase behind was started, they were swept up, and a new group was then forced out into the lead, including Laurent Jalabert and Eric Caritoux of France. And in the third place here, one of the Helvetia riders, and that was again the new professional from Switzerland, Laurent Dufault. Well, Eric Caritoux should feel at home in the vineyards because he has one of his own down at the base of Mont Ventoux. Improv on the finish, Caritoux setting the pace. And the man he was setting it for, on his shoulder, on our left, is Charly Mottet, planning an assault here to take over the race lead, and shadowing him everywhere there, Stephen Roche. Roche has ridden well, he rode well in the first stage, he's ridden particularly well in this stage today. Mottet equally riding well, there is Roche and climbing smoothly, Eric Caritoux sitting not too far behind him, and the grimace there of Ekimov at the back of the field as they come up towards the top of this climb. It's an absolute brute of a climb, by the way. It's 5.5 kilometers long with an average gradient of 8.5%. Then it was off the top of the mountain and heading down towards the finish. Only 3 riders remained in the lead. Charly Mottet driving the pace, with him Gérard Rué in the new colours of Helvetia for him this season and already showing good form, and Stephen Roche, winner of the Semaine Catalan barely a week before this race. Gérard Rué 6th in Milan-San Remo, you may have seen that if you're watching with us on Eurosport. And Charly Mottet is a stage winner of the Tour de France last year, and he's beginning to show he's got good form this year as well. Just 2 kilometres from the finish, the 3 riders were in no doubt now that they were going to survive. The lead was up to just on 1 minute over the main chase group. Mottet just making sure there, checking over his shoulder. Into the final kilometre, and Gérard Rué had moved to the back of the 3, ready perhaps for the sprint. Mottet was in the middle and Roche was driving the train. The Dubliner now feeling that he might be returning to the great form of 1987. He spent the first stage chasing, now he can spend the first part at least of this second day attacking. No time to relax and juggle for the sprint. It's time that counts, with this afternoon's time trial still to come. So the 3 riders willing to consolidate their time gains over the rest of the race and not worry too much about where the result goes. No bonuses here for the riders today, as there were yesterday. The time trial to come. So the 3 riders now were content. Oh, and dear me, Charly almost took himself a bale of straw. That's cost him a couple of lengths and a little sprint for the line. Roche is leading as they come up towards the line. In second place is Gérard Rué, and Charly Mottet is sitting at the back. The last time we saw Charly Mottet involved in a sprint like this on Eurosport was the Championship of Zurich, when he had Greg LeMond and Claudio Chiappucci for comfort. And of course he beat them, and it looks like he's going to have another go here, because he's moved up on the shoulder now as they come onto the velodrome. Into the velodrome at Cavaillon, 1 lap to go. Dress rehearsal for Paris-Roubaix perhaps in a couple of weeks' time on the velodrome at Roubaix, and Mottet takes the sprint. Gérard Rué second, Stephen Roche is third. The main field come onto the track some 58 seconds behind. And in the big sprint for the line, it's Peter Hilse of Germany who takes the line. Eric Caritoux and Jean-Claude Bagot the next 2 places. And there's confirmation that Caritoux finishes now for the new race leader, Charly Mottet, to Jean-Claude Leclerc. Again, his good luck not continuing. He had mechanical trouble on this stage. He's lost the lead. Mottet is the leader. Gérard Rué is equal on the stage. Stephen Roche with him. Peter Hilse was 4th. Eric Caritoux finished in 5th place. Both 58 seconds back. Overall, with the time trial to come, Roche is 2 seconds down on Mottet, along with Gérard Rué. Bruyneel of Belgium is 39 seconds back. Leclerc is 5th. The winner now must surely come from one of those top 3 riders as they battle it out over the time trial of some 15 kilometres. For the Easter weekend, it's now the crucial time trial of 12.5 kilometres based on Avignon, with 3 rider time trial already underway. The best time recorded so far, Vjatceslav Ekimov, not surprising that, 15 minutes and 8 seconds. Mauri is in second place, 15, heading extremely well this year. And a man who can turn in a very good time, and it is certainly better than Pensek's 16:42, but again, it's not going to disturb the leaders on the board. So he's not quite found his top form yet. The time trial really does reveal your true form. There's no hiding from the 1 minutes and counting as he comes up to the line. As always in international stage racing, the top riders on the general classification start at the back of the field. Germany, I think, coming in. Yes, it is. Almost 17 minutes for him. There's a good ride behind him, because this is Tony Rominger who's almost caught him. His time's going to be good. 16:56. Not quite as good as I thought. The clock was actually on him rather than Gansler's, who started 1.5 minutes ahead of him as he sprints for the line. Oh, well, it's not such a good ride, is it? 17:40 perhaps. The clock has been taken off. 17 minutes 40 seconds. Slots in there, or he should slot in there, at around 5th place at the moment. Stephen Roche preparing for the other side. Eddie Bauman's from the Panasonic team. Breuking's caught him, and that'll be an excellent ride. Look at that, 50 minutes 11 seconds. Breuking, to be expected, is now up. Breuking is up in 3rd place. There it's confirmation. Mauri is 2nd. Ekimov still leads, and holding on to what might well be a stage victory here. Let's go down the course a little way and see Johan Bruyneel. Ekimov, 4th in the Tour of Mercia, 5th place. And it looks like a good one. Oh, by gum, it is a good one. 15 minutes and 13 seconds. That's going to put him right up the minute. Stephen Roche now settling into his rhythm and riding very, very smoothly indeed. His body rock solid and the legs doing all of the work. Stephen Roche, who can time trial so well uphill as well as on the flat. He won the long stage in the Tour de France a few years ago that took us to Poitiers and Futuroscope. He's won his stages in Paris-Nice in the time trial, and he's won Paris-Nice, of course. And now Gérard Rué, still ahead of him though, is coming in with a good time indeed. So Rué is not going to go down without a fight. He's thrown down the gauntlet. 15 minutes 28 seconds for Rué. So determined to stop him doing that. Roche approaching the finish. Gérard Rué is in. Stephen Roche is approaching the finish and well inside the time of Rué. So Rué has gone from the top of the leaderboard. He won't win this event. Stephen Roche could though, as he comes up to the line now. 15 minutes and 10 seconds. Tremendous ride, just a shade below that of Ekimov. Puts him in 2nd place on the board at the moment. More important than that, he has the best time, which would give him the overall win in this event if Mottet now doesn't beat 15 minutes and 8 seconds. It's as close as that. And Mottet can't be very far away, surely, because of his ability in the time trial. But he looks to be rolling a little bit now towards the end. He's using this special saddle, which has recently become a regulation where you can push back. Once upon a time, Thierry Marie was stopped from riding on that saddle because it was against the regulations. Now it's allowed. Mottet's got one fitted, but is it going to be worth a victory here in the Criterium International for him? Well, Mottet approaching the finish. He looks as though he has tried. Looks, in fact, as though he's suffered terribly. He's way outside. His time has gone over that of Stephen Roche. Stephen Roche has won this race for the 2nd time. And Roche already celebrating. Charly Mottet is going to slip back here because his time, in fact, surprisingly not as good as that of Gérard. The result of the Criterium International Stage 3, Ekimov wins the time trial. Stephen Roche just 2 seconds back in 2nd place. Mauri, a man on form this year, was 3rd. But the surprise was, of course, that Mottet and Rué were further down the field. And the overall final standings of the race. Stephen Roche wins the race for the 2nd time in his career by 18 seconds from Gérard Rué of France and Helvetia. Charly Mottet surprisingly slips there back into 3rd place. Bruyneel is 4th. Further down the list, Zhdanov of the Soviet Union will be very pleased with his 6th place here. Another Soviet rider, Konishev, in 8th. And Jérôme Simon coming up to finish in 9th place. So that is the result of the Criterium International.